Remember, if you are a new first-time viewer of CKW and you want to be a part of this, you must be an active follower. You must also be subscribed, and make sure you follow the Discord and be a part of the conversation. But if you're a long-time viewer and a mod, hit me up and we'll talk. Here we go. Week 1 officially has begun with our new CKW Liberty champion, Kyrie Nixon, with a mic ready to set off with a promo to call out his first opponent to defend against. Kyrie Nixon wasting no time as he goes right to the top of the power rankings, calling out Owen Dallas. But Owen Dallas, to the surprise of the crowd, and leaves him hanging on stage. We're gonna have to see where that goes from here, as Adonis Galliano was set to start things off against the new and upcoming Shaka Wraith, who makes his debut in the CKW for week 1. But Adonis Galliano, who has been a sleeper and not liked by many, has been sneakily picking up wins. And this one may be no different, as he started off with all of the power on the newbie in his first debut match.
Running senton! Man, that's gonna hurt. And then the stop.
Adonis not holding back on anything against Shaka Wraith until he found his moment. Damn. And it was just the Shaka Wraith show from this point forward. Very interested to see how Shaka Wraith shakes it up in the company going forward. But here we are with Adonis turning things back around, throws Shaka back into the ring. A coup de grace from Adonis Galliano, but he's not done. Goes to the bottom turnbuckle for a spear. And this will end the dreams of Shaka Wraith, or not, as he breaks out of the pin count, and Adonis not wasting any time trying to get this win, but Shaka's not going to make it easy on him, making the veteran sweat a little bit here, throws him up, drops him, goes for the pin count, gets it to the 2, and he's out and free. We have ourselves a match, ladies and gentlemen. Shaka wasting no time, going for another finisher. Adonis reading it like a book. He goes for a finisher of his own, but it's not enough, as he goes for the guillotine submission finish. And unfortunately, in the rookie's debut, his first match ends with a tap out as Adonis continues his stellar start. But from one debut to another, as Ace Rodriguez, looking to get himself back on track, takes on the newly acquired Mike Messiah. Now, Mike Messiah right now already turning some heads with the choice of attire, but how will his fighting abilities match up? And we won't know, because Ace Rodriguez wasted absolutely no time in this match, hitting him where it hurts. He did not care about the debut of the up-and-comer, because Ace needed a W. He had a rough month 1, and he was going to use this as his time to get back where he needs to be in the power rankings. And again, no time wasted at all. But if you thought Mike wasn't going to fight back, you would be very, very wrong. Mike took this fight outside of the ring, and he went in on a few combos of his own, also making it seem like there was a possibility that he would continue the losing streak for Ace Rodriguez, throwing himself from outside the ring for a swanton. But Ace Rodriguez would not be defeated that easily. The continued assault from Ace Rodriguez only ended the dreams of the rookie possibly getting his first W, as Ace was able to get out of this pin attempt from Mike Messiah after the strong start from Ace, and ended things after showboating in the far corner while Mike was catching his breath, and the rest was history.
Oh, could this
Damn!
Dragon twist cut. That last shot did major damage. Blood's running down his face.
Ace Rodriguez gets his first W, and he is finally in the winners column. But next up, speaking of winners, Dean McCarthy, the new CKW World Heavyweight Champion, debuts his belt as he has some beef that he needs to squash. We remember in the fight for the belt last week, in the chaotic Extreme Rules match between him and Drip Messiah, Curtis King of Terminus, along with Fro, jumped into the match to help Drip out, and Dean McCarthy did not feel pleased with that. And some would say this could go right into the hands of Drip Messiah, as he will now face off against Curtis King, coming fresh off of a tag team championship win. And Dean might have bit off more than he could chew, knowing that he is going to have an eventual face-off with Drip Messiah. Taking on this match with Curtis King has not proved to be the best idea, because Curtis came out swinging
with the underhook. Good buster!
But Dean McCarthy tried everything he could to get back in it, but Curtis doing as he should for his teammate Drip Messiah and weakens the champion as he takes him out with utter ease and gets the win in this non-championship match against Dean McCarthy. We're gonna have to see how this plays out between Drip and Dean, but for right now, Curtis doing his part, pushing Terminus forward. But from one tag team champion to the other, as we start off week 2, the FRO caught himself up in a match of the Giants. Victor Kruger, Michael Teao, these three will be facing off as they are looking to get themselves in the picture for gold going forward, but there can only be one of these atrocities, and who will it be? The FRO and Michael Teao asserting their dominance early, but Michael Teao had no issue taking on both competitors 1v2, dealing out combos from one and jumps over to the next, to the point where he has a sledgehammer and he is just unleashing pain across the board. It was the Michael Teao show throughout the entirety of the start of this match, and the crowd was absolutely eating it up. One stun right into a spear on Victor Kruger, and Teao looking to get the 1-2-3, but somehow Victor Kruger survives and he will not go down with ease. But as I mentioned, the FRO was not going to go out without a fight, as Victor Kruger is trying to find his spot in this match, while Fro and Michael Teao continue to look like the two favorites as this match went on. But don't sleep on Victor Kruger. Sledgehammer to the back of Michael Teao is how everything was going to start. And while Michael Teao and Fro to beat each other up, Victor waited for his moment. Michael Teao's down. He sends Fro to the canvas and takes the opportunity, while Victor Kruger wins this very important match that is going to send him in the right trajectory for possibly being the future CKW Liberty champion. But only time can tell. But speaking of a win helping him in the right way, Magic making a debut against Victor's partner Havoc. We remember how Magic and Game Hunter, the rivalry between Magic and Game Hunter in the first month, where Magic just continued to get the better of Game Hunter, and Havoc did not like this. Havoc now going to the defense of his family member Game Hunter as he goes right after Magic in a match of his own, and Magic not scared of the size of Havoc as he goes on an absolute tear to start things off. But if you thought Havoc wouldn't fight back, you'd be terribly mistaken, because all it took was one moment and Havoc then saw nothing but red. Shot after shot from Havoc to Magic, and Magic was starting to see the power from this dead man as he does a great job to avenge the one Game Hunter in weakening Magic a bit for this part of the rivalry. But just when things were looking all Havoc, Magic found his groove, and he took this thing to the limits and was able to eventually hit him with a timely drop, go for the pin, and get the win.
Into the cover.
And when Magic thought that this part of the story would be over, everything got dark.
Guys.
And to the surprise of no one, Game Hunter shows up in the ring, fresh off of a tough fought match, and Game Hunter takes advantage, dropping Magic, turning things back into the favor of the Dreams and Nightmares Syndicate. We are gonna have to see how this turns out, as Drip Messiah now takes the stage after the Curtis King beatdown of the champion Dean McCarthy, having Drip Messiah feeling confident as all can be, calls the champion out, and Dean decides to show up. Now you gotta remember, now you can only imagine how infuriated Dean has to be as he has continued to deal with the Terminus nonsense. But now he gets Drip Messiah to himself in the ring, and Drip calls him out for a championship match in the future. But Dean doesn't care about that right now, as he goes right after him and attacks him at the end of his promo. So now we have ourselves a brawl between the two top heavy hitters in CKW. Drip Messiah finding his groove after Dean McCarthy, still fresh off of a loss from Curtis King in the previous week. Drip Messiah taking complete advantage, and now he drops Dean McCarthy. And Drip Messiah now, after the blows from Curtis King, Drip sending a message to Dean McCarthy, and this isn't looking well for our inaugural champion. But speaking of championships, we have our first defense as Kyrie Nixon takes on Owen Dallas, who eventually took the challenge, and it was going to be in an underground match. If you've never seen an underground match before, this can only end by knockout or submission, so expect this one to be heavy hitting. Kyrie Nixon has looked like a dominant force in his start to CKW, and Owen Dallas did not have the greatest first month, but Owen is one to take advantage of any opportunity that is thrown his direction. And we remember Kyrie Nixon was the one that called for this challenge, and now will but the question is, will he regret it? As Owen Dallas has put up a phenomenal fight here against Kyrie Nixon, but Kyrie Nixon is no scrub. We're seeing everything out of the Kyrie Nixon playbook in this matchup, and it was looking like it was going to be all but over. But Owen Dallas makes sure that he's going to do the most with his opportunity, as these two just constantly back and forth, reversal after reversal, counter after counter. It did not look, we weren't sure where this match was going to go. He gets the reversal, just survives. But Owen Dallas tried to get a move on him, but Kyrie Nixon reverses it and knocks him out and defends his CKW Liberty champion in his first successful defense via underground match. Congratulations to the champion, and we'll love to see who will be next, where there's still bad blood between Magic and Game Hunter. Now Game Hunter waiting for his opponent to arrive, but before his opponent could arrive, Magic jumps into the stage and goes after Game Hunter again. To the surprise of nobody, Magic, who was known as the Crash Out, absolutely tears one into Game Hunter.
Get control, quick!
Where the referee ultimately is going to call the match. There will be no match here. These two are just squabbling just for the sheer hate for one another. We saw Game Hunter get the last laugh in the previous week, and now Magic will make sure he's the one that will be remembered, as he absolutely squashes Game Hunter in this successful crash out, in what looked to be a successful crash out. But Game Hunter finds his second win, and with a sister Abigail, he will get the final laugh. And now Magic finds himself reeling in this rivalry. With the rivalries continuing with the Dreams and Nightmare Syndicate, we see the FRO facing off against Havoc for a second time, as the Dreams and Nightmares Syndicate look to get another opportunity at the tag belts in the near future. But things will start with a Fro and Havoc rematch, and Havoc, a lot like in the first match, getting the absolute better of the FRO, leaving questions if Terminus will even be able to retain their tag belts in week 4. But before we can get to that, Owen Dallas wasting no time out fresh off of a loss against Kyrie Nixon, as he faces up against Mike Messiah, looking for his first W since joining CKW. This will be the second match for Mike Messiah, and Owen Dallas trying to get his name back out of the mud. And Mike Messiah is gonna make it hard for Owen Dallas. Regardless of the opportunities of Owen Dallas, Mike Messiah is gonna take his stand, but he would come up short, as Owen Dallas not only wins, he wins convincingly, as he forces Mike Messiah to tap out. And now Owen Dallas looking to look forward at getting another opportunity at gold in the near future. But here we are in the action-packed week 4, starting off with a match from Michael Teao versus the high-flying El Flapjack Larry. El Flapjack Larry, who is looking to get himself going as well, taking on the heavyweight in Michael Teao. A lot of people believing beforehand, El Flapjack Larry included, that this match was going to be utterly one-sided, as Michael Teao has shown his dominance early, as you're seeing right in front of your face. Not many believed in the high-flying ability of El Flapjack Larry until he found his groove, and El Flapjack Larry never looked back.
Near fall there. Ooh, that'll kill you over.
We're seeing Larry usher out some of the most offense in his young career with CKW, and it couldn't be at a better time. Michael Teao just could not figure out how to get his offense going, because El Flapjack Larry, though he may not look like it, is one of the quicker wrestlers able to get his groove in this one. And with Michael Teao dazed and confused, a phenomenal forearm right into one final senton off of the top rope will lead to an El Flapjack Larry upset as he takes out the heavy-hitting Michael Teao, and El Flapjack Larry is going to climb in the leaderboards with this dominant win. But speaking of dominance, we're going to find out who is the dominant of the two between McCarthy and Game Hunter, as this rivalry finally comes to a head. An ambulance match between the two. No love lost. Everything between these two has been utter chaos, and now it ends with someone being driven to the hospital via an ambulance. Now, as we've seen this month so far, Game Hunter does a great job asserting his dominance, where things were looking like it was turning around for the two, where Game Hunter now has been in the power position. McCarthy was not going to go out without a fight, throwing one another out of the ring, constant drops, constant sentons, constant suplexes. It was just utter chaos between these two. We're seeing McCarthy bring a chair into the situation, trying to hit Game Hunter while he's down, but Hunter, after one hit, able to get away from it. Now he's back in the power position, throwing McCarthy against the side of the ring, and now Game Hunter is the one calling the shots in this match. But after a good 20 minutes of fighting, not one wrestler has decided to open the back of the ambulance yet. Not one attempt, because both wrestlers want to make sure that they hurt the other before they got to that point. But the first person to try to eliminate the other in the ambulance would be McCarthy, as he throws Game Hunter into the back of the ambulance, but the two would squabble over the first door, and Game Hunter would ultimately free himself from the ambulance, to only then send McCarthy into the back of the car for some offense of his own, but with a different result, getting the first door to close. Game Hunter looking to close and end this with the second door. McCarthy frees himself and begins another onslaught of moves over Game Hunter, and he would not look back.
In a perilous situation.
He can't.
From the top.
Don't let him miss it. So there you go. Top rope move and high kick to the jaw from McCarthy would give McCarthy another opportunity to possibly send him into the back of the ambulance, but not without making sure he is down and out for the count. Wobbling over to try and close the door. Second door attempt. Is it gonna be enough? And it will be, as McCarthy closes the door to this rivalry against Game Hunter, as he comes out on top. And now the question will be, what will be next for McCarthy after he closes the chapter? But as one story closes with Dreams and Nightmares Syndicate, another one looks to do the same, as the final matchup between Terminus and the Dreams and Nightmares Syndicate will take place inside of a cage. A tornado tag match for the tag belts. One final go. If Terminus is able to defend their belts against them, they will move on for whoever the next opponent may be. And with all the buildup for this rivalry, Terminus asserts their dominance against the big duo of Dreams and Nightmares. Curtis King looking spry in this atmosphere, while Fro also dealing some damage outside. This match was unfortunately all Terminus, as the FRO and Curtis King had them right where they wanted them. Curtis King dishing the final blow to Havoc.
Super kick. There's more.
As he gets the 1, 2, 3. Terminus retains their belts and continue to reign as the tag team champions. In a quick shift though, Shaka Wraith looking for his first W. He'll be going up against Perk Blade as Ricky takes the fight to Shaka Wraith. Though Shaka Wraith has been winless in his start in CKW, he has shown that he has the ability to deal some damage and scare the competition in the future. But Rick Blade does not seem fearful at all from the abilities of Shaka Wraith, making it look easy, throwing him around, kicking combos. But now Shaka is in the power position. And when Shaka finally tried to get himself going, Rick Blade responds like the veteran he is, getting him right where he needs him, going for one final Perk Blade drop. He gets the 3 count, and Ricky Blade will get his win and move on, while Shaka Wraith tries to continue to find his name in this company. And now for the main event, Drip Messiah, Dean McCarthy, one-on-one. No shenanigans allowed, just a match between these two, and the winner comes out CKW champion. Drip Messiah and Terminus have won the mind games for the month, but it all comes down to what happens inside of the ring in this match. And Drip Messiah, a lot like how this month has been going, waste no time starting things off in his favor. And Dean McCarthy again looking weak in this match, but things would start to change in the direction of the defending champion. Dean McCarthy reminding Drip Messiah that he has no help. There will be no Terminus to come through and help him out with this match. It's just you versus me, and he is getting the better of the swagged out Drip Messiah. But don't count him out just yet, because here comes Drip with another flurry of offense as he is looking to defeat the defending champion and become the new CKW World Heavyweight Champion, giving all of the gold to Terminus. But Dean McCarthy will make sure that is not possible.
Trap the arm.
Dean McCarthy throws Drip Messiah outside of the ring and continues to deal out more punishment as it was starting to look all but bleak for Drip Messiah. Dean McCarthy getting to the top rope and goes for a monster drop kick, and Drip able to counter it. As he goes for some offense, Dean counters Drip, and now he's going after the lower thigh, and he goes while spinning and dropping him. Down goes Drip Messiah, stunned. Will this be the end? It is not. Drip Messiah able to survive that and get some offense of his own.
The moment he was looking for in this, and then quickly the cover. He breaks the.
Dean McCarthy, though, still on the wrong side of the offense as Drip Messiah jumps from the top rope for a frog splash. Goes into a combo, but Dean McCarthy counters it back. One thing you can be sure of when these two get in the ring together, it will be constant reversals and constant counters. Dean is ready! And this match was no different. Every time you thought one had the advantage, the other would have a response. A powerbomb of Drip's own gets to a 2.8, and Dean somehow gets out of the pin count. Drip, though, sees blood. Drip has an opportunity. One last shot for Drip. Spins, hits him in the corner. A few more combos. Drip ready to seal the deal. And Dean McCarthy with a timely reverse. And now Dean is in the driver's seat. Stunned and confused, Dean McCarthy gets him with a power stomp. And this will be it. Dean McCarthy retains his belt and continues his reign as CKW champion, and the rivalry between these two is officially in the books. We've seen several rivalries end this month, which only means next month we will see some new ones begin. Who would you like to see face up? Stay tuned in the next episode.